Come on. Give it a push. Feel this wick now. Good one. Break this wick now. Okay, I don't like how it's sort of just hovering here. So I'm going to employ a strategy. I'm going to go make a coffee and I'm going to leave it to the fate when I get back. So I'll be there. I'll be away for a couple minutes. Hopefully it's gone through the ceiling here by the time I get back. Okay. Back. So fill this clean candle all the way to this little square. This little square. This wick. This candle here. So we're finding, can we crack into it? Or is this where we're going to start getting manipulated? Come on, push, push, push. So I'm going to take a little bit off the table here. I'm going to consider that as a, it was 30 pips. I'm going to consider it's a little bit less. Normally I like to get 50. But I'm going to, with UK PMI coming up, I'm giving myself options to add. I just don't want the UK news to come in and sort of give whipsaw. Because we've got, oh sorry, not UK. UK is not till 9:30. It's the Eurozone. Bloody Eurozone is could have this one here, 9 o'clock, could have an impact. Could have an impact. I'm expecting bad numbers. Usually if France and Germany have got bad numbers, Eurozone's usually the same. Good, cool. So pretty good. Like, see how the manipulation comes in. This is the 8:30 candle, my time. This is the German one. Price had moved up so much. Are they going to buy the high? Only if there was like a huge miss. Like perhaps if the numbers came out, perhaps if this number came out less than 50, then we wouldn't have seen any retracement whatsoever. It would have just gone parabolic. Because it was still above 50, and it was only a little bit less, it was bullish because we already ascertained from the start what we're looking for, pending these numbers. We spoke about this. So this just confirmed our direction, and now we just had to wait for price to do the manipulation. Because if you entered from the high, you know, you would have been sitting in heavy drawdown, like 50 pips drawdown, if you entered as soon as the news came out. So being patient on the news is the best thing. Awesome. We're cheap. This is now, so running at 40 pips profit. Oh, now we're really going. So 45 pips profit. Fantastic. Just keep on going now. Okay, who else? Who has managed to grab this one now? Daniel, you got it. Excellent. What was your entry? What was the price action you were looking for? Did you was it the same thing here? Entering the break of this high? As it broke the high. Beautiful. Yeah, never. If this wick, you're waiting for this wick here to go a little bit lower, weren't you, Ivan? This one here. Oh, to take the doji low. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's two people. Who else? I know if you were just not looking the trade. Terry, how'd you go?
I missed it.
Is that because you took a sell before?
Yeah, I think my bias was sell. So
Yeah, that's what happened to me last week. One of the days.
So I couldn't flip my bias.
Yeah, I struggle with that to flip so easily. Dave, you said you were leaving. You're busy setting the pending order above the previous bar high, and it took off. Oh, bummer. Okay, so you couldn't get the buy stop in. Okay, so this we'll cover it in a study session more in depth, Ivan. But also this is on you can watch from the start as well on the YouTube to get the understanding. Bad numbers, bullish. Terry didn't get it either. Oh, okay. You're waiting for the FU candle. Okay. So there was no trigger. Yeah. Prices didn't set up. Sorry, it set up in the area. It didn't give you an entry. But definitely go ahead and have a look at listen back at the fundamental reasoning for this.
Yeah, I was listening to your fundamentals. So I understood that, but so what is the, I guess, reason behind your entry? Oh, because there was already the manipulation. So
yeah, like
that was the reason for your entry.
Yeah, like I did slightly hesitate, and that's why I like the entry. I'm not sure if it was the delay in the MetaTrader versus the TradingView price, but my entry was closer to the high of this candle, rather than down here. So I got like a 3 pip difference in price. But the reasoning why was, I said at the start that I was concerned about this candle didn't have a bottom wick. So there's no liquidity grab for me. And then once price had come down to it, I mean, if you're looking at if I had it on all chart view, you got to say that there was an entry right here. Because I was saying, remember I was saying, if it pushes down with a wick and it starts flipping bullish, that would be an entry. But I didn't want to enter on this candle, and then this one, when it opened, it first went up, and then it was coming down. I was like, you got to have a wick that goes lower, and then as it starts to flip, this is the anticipation of this candle. But I wasn't even looking at the 5-minute chart. I was looking at the 1-minute chart, and I actually went from hour down to the 1 minute. It was just a combination. It's not a combination I'm recommending. It was just what I remember what happened was that I was concerned about the 1 hour not having a bottom wick. And then once this one started pushing down, just don't enter on a candle that's looking very bearish, but as it's breaking the high is one that you can enter on. Because I liked this zone, because this is the zone to have entered from. This is a beautiful zone to be looking. We just needed to see the manipulation. The fundamentals, the numbers confirmed it. Price pushed down, which confirmed that they were going for a liquidity grab. We don't know if they're going to keep on going and overshoot. There's no harm in once this. I don't even think this is an aggressive entry because the fundamentals are lining up for me to look for these longs. It was just simply waiting for it to break the high, break this trend of down candles to go back up. Actually,
yeah. So I see now the area makes sense, and it was a really good risk reward as well because you were at the zone and there was very little stop loss needed.
Yep. Yeah. Your buys from up here were there was no value here at all. So price pushed down, and they're thinking the same thing. There was no value. Actually, are you holding this from 4 days, like Wednesday last week, are you?
Yeah, just a small runner.
40 from the 20th, 4 days ago. Wait, what? That's
I'm just waiting
Thursday.
to see if the
Right.
price can, because if you look at, we already created HCS from upside.
Mm-hmm.
We already created HCS from bottom side. So both the HCS, we left the liquidity here, we left the liquidity here. So now if you are getting buys on this candle, you can target till here and see how price react into this zone.
The
If price
the
break,
4 hours got a HCS from down here as well.
yeah, here. So this was a HCS, on two HCS was formed from the bottom side on 4
But you
hour.
got it on the top side as well.
Yeah. So the thing is, we generated liquidity here, we generated liquidity here. So if someone has got the buy, they can target at least till here, and waiting to see how price going to react into this zone. If price is breaking above, then you can wait for price to get any kind of reaction from this zone. This is a manipulation zone on lower time frame for me. So if price is breaking above that zone and getting any kind of reaction after retest, we will continue going to push to the upside.
Makes sense. Good job. Good job for holding for over the weekend. Because that was that news could have come out and completely railroaded that idea.
I'm really looking at the news. I'm only looking at the price action based off on the 4 hour, 1 hour, because most of the time price just set up FA candle for the news. For example, so here 2 hours already give us idea that we want to push to the upside. So where is the liquidity at upside? We here. So at least tapping into this somewhere in this area, I can getting entry. I don't have to worry about any news is coming if I'm getting entry at the bottom here, because news can spike up, spike down, but eventually just going to move price to the next liquidity zone. Even here, this one is a HCS on the 2 hours now. This is a attempted FA candle here.
Jeez, 0.3 of a pip. That doesn't. My eyes don't pick that up. I need like a microscope on this one.
Yeah, now if the 2 hour is closing FA candle, we can say that the now market already decided we want to push to the upside. So maybe price coming into this zone to see how price react. Now this is a liquidity for us. Price can simply start moving to the upside.
Okay, here's the bloody 9 o'clock news. Please just... Oh, good. Negative numbers too. Yeah, usually is the case. Now we've got pound. Oh, sorry, I missed this question. Should we be concerned about volatility due to EU news? Oh gosh, I don't even know when that comment came through. Yeah, that's why we waited for the news to come out to create that volatility that we needed for the direction. Sorry, I missed that question. So not trading the news, we traded the reaction to the news, which was the reaction was push down, and then we traded it in line with our bias, and we waited for, we had different, like I had different scenarios planned out in my mind based on what those numbers were going to be, and then traded the reaction I expected to happen. But good question. Good question. So Joe, I've seen what you just posted to trading to Discord. When did you post this? Did I miss this? Oh, an hour ago. Entered shortly after this candle open. Oh, you're looking for the buys. Fantastic. Trading the range. Good one. What's it? What are we at now? 60, 64, 63. Oh, we did push up to 65. So you got basically 50 pips from here. So it's 60 to 65. 50 pip move. And you secured around 63. Awesome. Good job. German 40 bounced up off the S1 pivot point. Okay. Sarah, you said you were looking at the pivot point, weren't you? Was that, is this the daily pivot? Was around this 16,160, and the S1 is down 16,120?
Yeah, it was hovering around actually just where you took your long.
Yeah, that's what the Emila from the comments was saying. It bounced off the S1 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never use pivots, but it seems to be price really does bounce around those levels. So if you find them helpful, then they do seem to be quite good at picking these sensitive areas. I've got to catch up with one of the guys. He passed his challenge, phase 1, phase 2, based on the signals, the trade ideas helped push him over the line. That was posted, especially UJ, I think, and Danny got 6% on UJ last week on her funded account. That he was also using EmmaBot with the pivot points. So I'm gonna try to catch up with him, and then I can see if and how perhaps I can get my coder to add the pivot point lines into the EmmaBot as like a toggle to turn it on and off. I wonder if we can set up triggers on it. I'm sure we can. So that'd be cool. That's what's good about the more people that use it and find different ways to use it and find success, then we can also just keep on adding it to the EmmaBot to add that versatility for people. I don't want to like kill my coder though with work. But it's really good to see these see you guys starting to really get some consistency.
So what time will your call finish?
What was that? Sorry.
7.
Oh, he's on the phone. Was it yes? Pivot points are another confirmation you use. Also, putting stop losses outside of pivot points. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Even for stop loss placement. Yeah, I much prefer a stop loss placement determined by not by like swing points so much. I find swing points very dangerous to put stop losses because it's such a flag for most people. So you're trying to find either volatility stop or another reason to put your stop loss somewhere. such as perhaps pivot points is a good one to put it below there, because these pivot points are sensitive levels. Putting it below particular, like I would very happily, if I saw if it was a higher time frame and I saw this kind of price action and I saw a particular candle in here that I liked, I'd be fine leaving it, like, say there. I'm not saying there's anything here that I see, but most people would put stop loss like under a swing or under a double bottom or under something like this. Whereas if I saw like an engulfing candle or something, I'd rather put it like, say, there rather than there, because to me, like under a swing low is such a obvious spot. This is liquidity to be rated, so why add all that risk than you need to? That's way too much risk. You can rather keep stop losses tight under a specific area or under a specific zone where you've got also other layers of protection that don't just stand out by, like, most people won't pick like someone will see like a doji turning point and put it underneath there, and then easily you get stopped out just before it goes your direction. So this is the pivot here, is it? Yep, that's your pivot point. Cool.
Yeah, it keeps bouncing off these candles. It's just the pivot points just below that.
Yeah, it's a tough little area, this monthly zone. But I got no doubt we're bullish with these. The way these numbers have fallen, we're definitely bullish. What do you say now? Oh, you took a GU, actually, or you're just testing on this one?
Yeah, so
previous
this
HCS
one
close
is,
above it.
yeah, so this one is a manipulation zone first. So on lower time frame, maybe you will see the manipulation here in this zone to again start moving to the upside. Yeah, you can already see on 1 minute we are start doing the manipulation there.
If we get bad numbers in 20 minutes time, your idea is going to be very, very... Oh wait, this is German 40.
Yeah, this is German 40, and the previous one was
this was GU.
So GU is creating its CS here, so we will continue pushing to the downside, maybe in this area, this candle. This is an imbalance candle, so let's see how this candle closes. If this candle is closing strong bearish, we will continue pushing to the downside.
Al, are you talking about GU or talking about German? This little bit here. I would have loved for this wick, from a price action point of view, if this wick was a little bit lower. That would be my triple wick zone.
Now on 1 minute, if this 1 minute candle break the previous 1 minute high and close strong one, then we will continue pushing to the upside.
Yeah, definitely. This has just been a pullback.
Yeah.
Good one, Alan. That was a perfect late entry.
Yeah, the problem with this kind of entry, you cannot hold it for longer period. You can just get the small scalp in this kind of entries.
Yeah, yes. So difficult to hold these ones for long.
Okay, nice close. So probably we will start moving to the upside.
Oh, Terry's in there. Got the late buy as well. Good one. Do you see, like, without having a bias, how easy it is to get triggered into like jumping into sells when price gone so high? And like sort of just being really unsure of what you're looking for, because as it's coming down, like this could still just drop, right? We got to always be prepared for the unexpected, but having a clear bias means usually you don't have that same confusion that when price gets to an area, because it's always going to bounce off a resistance, but then people want to, like, they'll be buying, selling, and then you you're just really always second guessing yourself now every single time you come up to any sort of zone about what are you doing. But if you've got a clear bias in the first place, I feel that's much easier to trade then, because you got to wait. You just got to wait for something that lines up in your direction. And that's where fundamentals is. What I like about fundamentals is that it takes out a lot of the guesswork. It doesn't mean you can only trade that. You still need to have a good understanding of price action. Absolutely. But you can't. I think having a good understanding of both fundamentals and technicals, it takes out a lot of the guesswork that you need to do. But then if you're just trading technicals, it throws up a lot of confusing questions about why price is moving down from a specific area, because you'll just see like order block and price moved out, so imbalance. The next time it comes up, look for sell again. And having the fundamental reason behind that takes out a lot of those trap price actions. So the fundamentals clears up the technicals. But then if you're just fundamentals, your technical trading is going to be shit as well, because you're going to constantly get into the market probably too soon or too late if you're just focusing on fundamentals. And if you over leverage from the first trade with the fundamentals, I've got to have a catch up with a student, and he was getting this month was pretty heavy for fundamentals, and last month he had a really good month, and this month he's finding it really difficult to transition into the fundamentals. He's getting a little bit burnt, so he went away from his trading plan, went away from the technical side of trading, and now he started trying to trade fundamentals. But then he's had the same impatient, I'm going to say it's an impatient mindset with the fundamentals, that he got into trades expecting it to move straight away because of the fundamentals, and then is getting he's just entering too many trades and expecting it to move straight away. But fundamentals, you got to be patient. You got to be really, really patient for fundamentals. Just got to let it lie. Sometimes you got to sit in a trade for days before it starts moving. Yeah, good call actually. Good call about that area. For me, I'm pleased. My day's done. Hope for 100 pips. Expect 50 pips. That's the philosophy. And it's a Monday, so how much did this move in total? So it's a pretty low volume day, 70 pips. Not surprising as well, is it? Normally we expect to see on a German Open around 100, 120 pips, and that volume can come late. At the moment, a 70 pip push is a low volume day. Not the lowest we've seen, but it's a low volume day, but it's not unexpected. And I was kind of thinking this morning before we started, I was like, thought about this. I don't want to jinx anything or put that idea in people's head too early, but I was going to message on the Discord beforehand and just say, expect a low volume day with all this news, this staggered news. But I didn't want people to like say, well, we're not going to look for a trade or take a trade or start creating that negative mindset that we're not expecting much for today. Because I think 50 pips on a daily basis is still very achievable, even on low volume days for German 40, for gold. It's just about trying to get that timing right. But 70 pips is kind of what I expected with all this news, unless it was a very big miss. But I'm very pleased that it's all red numbers, because it made the buys much easier to look for, because of the the correlation with negative numbers for the monetary policy and the current interest rate cycle. If the interest rate cycle was on the way down, as in we're lowering interest rates, those bad numbers would be causing German 40 to have the opposite effect. But we'll keep on discussing this and in our study sessions on the weekend, and all the content that's been produced slowly but surely. Any questions, guys, girls? Kind of at a little lull here because we've got 11 minutes to the pound PMI. You're watching Aussie Kiwi. You missed a short entry. Ooh, Aussie Kiwi, huh? Yeah, I haven't been following Aussie Kiwi lately. Not as a combination. I couldn't help you here. But you're an Aussie, pound Aussie. You're a Kiwi. You've been heavy on those ones lately. Looking at the hourly, where hourly's here. Good one. What was your entry? What was the style of entry on this one? Pretty sensitive swing over here. Just wicked it up to it this morning. A little rejection wick. Partial wick fill. Close lower. Little doji. Breaking the doji low. Back to supply. Little supply zone. I like this move. Euro. So you see how it's the different effect with as negative numbers would be bearish for euro. Remember I was saying that if it was good numbers, we would expect to see a bullish candle, but we got bad numbers. So this is bearish for the euro because it's not going to support aggressive rate hikes for the interest rates. If it's not going to support interest rate hikes, which in its method is to reduce supply. So what it's actually going to do is maintain that supply. So if market is anticipating a reduction of supply, price should go up. if there's no reduction of supply, price, well, even perhaps halting, is going to keep the supply demand steady. So in this case, we'll see bearishness here because of the interest rate differential between euro and the US. Beautiful clean candles to the left. I guess this would have been something that we should have anticipated if we weren't focused on German 40. This would have been the other one that we would have focused on. Does that make sense? How everything we spoke about for bullishness for German 40 could have been applied in the same sense for bearishness on the euro. It's just that the euro versus German 40, we normally see more volatility. Euro, we did see a lot of volatility here. You know, this has still moved 70 pips, so just as much as German, but we don't normally see this much volatility. I guess why we didn't see that much volatility is that those PMI figures are probably more impactful for euro. And this is, Ivan, if you're listening still, this is, I think, where you're struggling to get your head around is like, why would bad numbers be good for business? And that's probably why we had a subdued effect to the long side, is because it's good for stocks in terms of interest potential, like damage to people's spending capacity, but it's actually not good for business. So how can stocks really go well if there's a lot less manufacturing and services? But the way that this is the effect on those PMIs and the interest rate decision, that it can weigh heavily, that it still is bullish for the stock market. But if we're actually looking at something that's going to be more impacted, and by far it's going to be the euro, the actual currency. So this is where it had a much bigger effect in terms of like looking at the 5-minute chart. Look at this 5-minute chart and look at German 45-minute chart. We can see which one actually had a bigger effect, and that was the euro, the currency, and that's exactly what the supply demand potential impact from interest rate decisions and PMIs is going to have. It's going to have a much bigger effect on the actual currency rather than the stock, the unit price. A friend of yours just made 10k on that candle. This one here.
Yeah, that candle.
Funded account.
Yeah.
So what time was this one? 8:30. This was when the German news came out.
Yeah, that's it. He sent it over, and I was like, "What?"
So why would this was the first piece of news candle. This one here, this blue one. Why did that one have less of an effect than this one? This is the London Open candle as well. Oh, sorry, that's not a PM, AM.
Actually, got in really early. He was in from 1:11.443.
Oh yeah, but why would this candle have more an effect than the 8 AM candle? Anyone? Any ideas? This was your France PMI. This is your German PMI. They're both news candles. Yeah, more volume, definitely. Why more volume on this one? Yeah, Alan, that's it. Germany is the biggest economy in Europe. Yeah, that's why. That's why. It has more impact than the France one. Good job. Slowly and surely, you guys are getting fundamentals. Germans are the boss. Yeah, they're the boss of Europe. UK's pretty close second. But now they're less influential in there. Still biggest trading partners. Yeah. That's why and like we spoke about as well last week, why a strong pound is negative for UK 100. So these have been presenting very good opportunities. So what do you think now is, what do we think if when pound PMI comes out in 2 minutes, if these are great numbers, sell UK 100, especially if we're pushing up into these highs. If we're pushing up into these highs and these great numbers, we can instantly look for sells. Just make sure it lines up with your pattern of entry, all right? But if we get great numbers, green numbers, and if we get a green number perhaps like 48, then what you'd be looking for is sells. If we get bearish numbers, worse numbers, look for buys. No, wait, sorry. We get bad numbers. Wait a second. Let's go get my head around. If we get bad numbers, it's going to push pound down. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Bad numbers go up. I thought I'd just double dust myself. Here goes German again. Let's keep an eye out. Let's keep an eye on UK 100. Yeah. Weak pound translates to better profits when you do the currency conversion back from US dollars, from the business currency back into the British currency. Yeah. So pound going down is going to go up. As for pound to go down, what we want to see is weak numbers. So then this would be a very very volatile move if these numbers are very low. If they're very high, it goes down.
Creating a HCS on 5 minute now.
Which pair?
GU.
Oh, GU.
Okay. To the downside. Okay.
To the downside.
We're already moving to the downside.
Okay, so that means it needs to be positive numbers. Sorry, negative numbers here for GU to go down as well. So news is coming out, pending. Let's look at the pound because it's so bad numbers. Bad numbers, yeah. Pound down, UK 100 up. So this should go up. Just be careful of the manipulation because we can get whipsaw. Remember, we can get whipsaw. Oh, the UK 100s in the first study session. Yeah, I need to label exactly what we covered in all the session in the study sessions. But I know we've covered this. I think it's a repetition though, because I know people are probably. Someone did say that even an hour and a half study session, once you're going through it, trying to make notes, it's more like 2 days it takes to get through it because there's so much content. So in this case, it's like repetition. Going over it regularly, saying it slightly different, getting some graphs together and things would be helpful for everyone to force you guys to learn. Have a good morning, guys. Off. Turd kids to put to bed. Something to look forward to. Yeah. Catch you, Daniel. See you tomorrow, mate. Good one, Akshay. Excellent.
Yeah, GU. So now this candle, if this candle is closing bearish, then we will continue pushing to the downside into this area. And also, if you look at the new 5-minute, just 1 minute before the news, and see the 5-minute candle closing, you will see HCS was formed there on the GU. This one.
Let me just make it bigger. I was trying to get a screenshot or something.
Yeah, this one. This one, HCS was formed before the news. Already closed some partial on the low here, some. But even before the news also, if you see liquidity was generated, and afterward we create a HCS. So then that means they doesn't want to push more to the upside and continuation to the downside. Even on the EU, when the news was coming, the big drop on the second one, we previously created HCS, and then news just dumped to the downside.
Mm-hmm. Good call. Good. Thanks for putting that signal in. The idea. Did anyone take Akshay's idea? Yeah, I think this is something that actually, when you've got a moment, and like, not obviously not today, but like down the line, I'd like to really go through with everyone on like maybe a study session topic or something, the price action before the news we've been speaking
right
about.
Now I'm just I'm just maybe next week, I mean the next month, first week, we can do that thing. I'm just right now, maybe at the end of the month, I will share that data.
Yeah, absolutely no rush. It's just something that we should put on to be discussed. For like next month would be perfect, because I want people to rush into this. I think any of these little tasks and things like this, because how many actually sent Akshay is the homework? barely anyone. Some people did, and we've recognized those people.
Yeah, I mean the most of the people just want to result.
I know you, Ivan. You did. You definitely did. We've referred. We pinned your homework into the Discord for people to have a look at to help. So, but if we're saying now, think about the price action before the news, because this news is not like we get the news, the numbers that come through, but people pay Reuters terminals like 30,000 a year, plus how much do you think these like corporations would pay to get that news slightly before us? Do you reckon the news actually comes out at 8:30? I reckon it comes out at 8:25, and it sets price up. It sets it up so the price action that you can recognize actually also often happens before the news to give you an indication of the example, and that's something that actually has been picking up on. So I'm telling you this: if you're going to go back test, look at news releases, look on the 1, 2, 3 minute chart, 5 minute chart before the news, and look at this liquidity principle, and see what kind of patterns you see. You've got to do that and have a look with your eyes first, and go try find some correlation, something. And then when we do a study session in a month's time, you've got a month warning for this. go and have a look at that so that you can be, when we go through it, when Akshay goes through it, and he's been studying this for a while, that you're going to be on the page. It's not going to be something that's new for you. It'll be really, really, really beneficial for you to do that. If you're on charts and you're struggling to find data that can look at those low time frames, because I know some programs that you're using, or if you haven't got the paid version of TradingView, you have limited data, don't you? You can use investing.com. Investing.com. Go to these charts, these charts here, because these ones, this like, it almost looks like TradingView. You can't really like save your charts and all that kind of stuff, but you can load this chart full screen. Just give away all my email addresses to YouTube. So you can use this chart. You can go back a monstrous amount of time on all low time frames. You can search. You can even search for it. Search for go to date, and type in your date and go like specific time of the news. You have to check to see what time this is. This 000 if it's New York time or whatnot. But you'll be able to go to the specific little candle to see. If you're struggling and you're saying data's an issue, then this is a solution for that. Okay, but the news comes out to these very influential figures. The news comes out before it comes to us. But I won't just like shoot up, because if it shot up before the news, then it would be easy for us to sort of follow that volume. So it will set up price with specific price action, and then when the news comes out, it'll then move. Sorry, actually, I cut you off on that rant.
No problem. I'm just saying there are two types of news. One news will just going to push in one particular direction. It's just not going to come back after that. And there will be some news, it's going to spike up, spike down. So you have to sort out which news are only going to move one direction and which news are on move like a two direction. Like first it's going to spike down, then spike up, and then usual move. And some move are just one direction. Once news come out, you just move one direction afterward. So you have to backtest that thing, that which news are usually move one direction, like FOMC, for example.
NFP, CPI, FOMC.
Yeah, or PMI, or there are a lot of news for the USD. So you have to figure out which news are usually move one direction and which news are usually move spike up, spike down, and then like a FOMC is like a push one direction and then correct all the way to the downside afterward, most of the time. Or NFP, so you have to figure out which news move one direction, which news move spike up, spike down, and then correct. Because this is a pattern you will see most of the time. And watch the 4-hour formation before the news, or 4 hour, 1 hour. That can give us the idea that where we are going. Most of the time price just preparing for the if you go to the GU 4 hour, you will see that the news was preparing for the 4 hour HCS formation. This was a 4 hour HCS formation. That we generated liquidity even before we have a doji candle also here. So that's the anticipation that the news in this 4 hour going to close in our direction, and then you can, based upon that, you can enter when the 4 hour is retesting to this previous 4 hour. And now you have to look at where is the liquidity on the left side. So this is a liquidity, this is a liquidity, all these are the liquidity. Obviously you are not going to hold most of your position. You are going to close in between, like a closing here or somewhere here on the lower time frame, based upon the what do you see on the lower time frame there. But once you are confident, you can hold your whole position from here all the way to the here, because you know that the price is going to move from one liquidity area to another liquidity. We already grabbed liquidity here, the previous 4 hour doji. Then you know that the price is going to move to the next liquidity area. So next liquidity area is this one, because this is an imbalance candle. We don't have any bottom wick to there. Or it may be on the 1 hour, you will see the liquidity here. So that's where you can close some partial in that area.
Absolutely. Look at that beautiful move. Probably should it's 40 pips from this for this little 15-minute candle. I think maybe let's make a point of PMI days. Maybe I might put a little note there. PMI days, trade the currency and the indice for these opens. Because normally I'm not doing both, but it's a huge that was because it complicates things trading two things at once. But that would be there's actually a much better move because it's only a good move today because we got one-sided news. If it was mixed news, it would have been shit on everything.
Even if you go to the EU, EU when the news was dropping, I think this drop. If you go to the lower time frame on maybe on the 1 minute, you will see before the news, this was the news. So before the news, we already created CS. So, and here, this was another manipulation before the news also. So that means they want to push to the downside on the news. Obviously, this is not a perfect one, but before that also, we got a news push to the downside. We kind of created a base here, like generating liquidity. People are anticipating that we want to push to the upside again. So what happened here, again created a manipulation here. And then afterward, this was a liquidity generated. Then this is again liquidity generated. And price just dump after that.
Yes, sir. Cool. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna scoot. I think gone for 2 hours here. That's my work day done. So I've got stuff to do, fires to put out. So I'm gonna make a move. Congrats, everyone. I think it was a good session to even look back on, study session or revision if you're just observing from a distance, just to sort of understand the bias creation. Price was easy in this one, wasn't it? Price was very simple. Fundamentals have been great lately.
On German 40, we just tap into that 3-hour liquidity.
Yeah, that was my area.
Got a reaction.
Yeah. Fundamentals have been very straightforward recently. It's been nice. Good one. All right, guys. Well, take care. If you guys have got any questions, pop in the Discord, and I'll see you guys later. I'm probably not going to be around for NY. If I am, I'll tune in. But yeah, I've got quite a few things I've got to do this afternoon. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. All right.
Take care. Nice to start the week.
Brilliant way to start the week. Yeah, nice pippage here. So cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave you guys there. So trade safe rest of the day. Don't over risk. I'll catch you guys later.
Thank you, Aiden.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Akshay.
Take care, everyone.